Hey everybody, this is Piper here, and today we are playing some Napoleon Total War. This is actually an old battle that I played a while ago. It's a battle replay, and I actually made a video on this battle, but that was a long time ago, and to be honest, the sound quality on my older videos were pretty poor in all honesty. So this was like an epic battle, so I thought I would redo this video and hopefully have the better audio in the video. So this is like a 3 versus 3 battle replay. This was played against, some of these guys were clan members. That player is called MGL Sammy. Sammy's a really good clan player, played a lot of Napoleon. Sammy's taking Russia today, I am Great Britain. Player on the left hand side is called, I think this player is called the Angry Piper. He went with Portugal. Now Portugal's it's a faction that has really good line, but it doesn't really have much else. He's gone for a lot of line obviously, and he's got the Cazadores as his skirmish front rank. The other players, that guy's a clan player, I can't remember his name, we'll get the names at the end. He's taken France today. I'm fighting against Portugal at the front there. And Sammy is going to fight a non-clan member, or a non-clan player, who's playing as Ottoman Empire. So we'll go through the Ottoman Empire armies fast. He's gone with the Janissary Grenadiers there, and he's gone with the Kedit Infantry. So you don't want to bring Grenadiers in a multiplayer battle. He's got the line here, that was a good choice. And he has some cavalry at the back as well. Portuguese player, a lot of line obviously, and the Cazadores at the front. The French players move forward on the left flank. I've actually pulled over I've got 2 units of Fencibles with a unit of light. They got some really good shots in there versus, I think it was the Young Guard. So they're down to 19 strength. You can see there, that's the entire battle line being formed up. So the French player has 3 units of Old Guard, 2 Old Guard there, 1 Young Guard, 2 Swiss foot at the back, and he has his 4 units of light at the front there. And you can see there, that's one of his Cazadores just routing right there. So that mass fire from the Chasseurs against the skirmishers totally destroyed them. The Portuguese player is going to charge for the unit of cavalry, and they're hopefully going to catch some of these Chasseurs in combat. Caught one there, but he's going to be caught in the crossfire when these Swiss foot start shooting back. Now that player's actually taking some damage there, but he's going to get a lot of kills against the Portuguese cavalry. Check out the centre. I've pushed forward my light foot to get some shots in versus the Portuguese player, and the enemy Portuguese player's actually reacted by charging his cavalry. The Portuguese cavalry are not very good, so moved forward my King's German Legion foot, and they're hopefully going to get some kills on the cavalry when they retreat. So that was a really good move there by the Portuguese player. Did a fair amount of damage to my light foot, but he's taking a fair amount of damage himself. Check out Sammy on the right flank. So Sammy has gone with the same strategy as the French player. He's basically put his Jaegers in the centre, or his light in the centre, guarded them with the musketeers, and his back line is basically musketeers. He has some lifeguard foot as well, and his general is general staff. He has a unit of musketeers with the Peltian at the front. So the thing about Russia, if you ever played a lot of Napoleon, Russia doesn't really have very good quality troops, but the thing about Russia is they get a lot of troops, a lot of quantity that are really cheap. So these Russian Jaegers and the Apelshini, for the stats, are actually pretty good. The line isn't as good as, say, Great Britain or other lines, but I'd imagine they would probably beat Ottoman Empire, and these guys get better melee stats as well. Sammy's absolutely destroying the Ottoman Empire player. So see, the Ottoman Empire player's actually got his rifles at the back of the troops. So those guys should really be at the front, or keeping them in the centre, or put your line at the sides. I think the player's going to charge in some of the cavalry possibly. He's got cavalry coming in on the right flank, and they're going to chase after the hussars. So these guys are the Slater cavalry, or the Seafarer cavalry. They're going to charge the Pelshini right there, and these guys are probably box. I'd imagine these guys are box as well. The Ottoman cavalry is pretty good for the price, and if they get a good charge in, they can do a lot of damage. So we've got our light in the centre. They are under attack from the Portuguese cavalry. I've moved forward my line of foot, and they've done a lot of damage to the cavalry. So the light actually took a fair amount of damage, but they're actually able to stand their ground, and the second line of foot actually did a lot of damage, took out the cavalry. In reserve we have a unit of, you have 2 units of one unit of coasting guards, and I think 2 units of foot guards possibly. So 1 unit of foot guards there, and we've got the 2 units of dragoon guards. So the French player's put a lot of pressure on our left flank. He's done a lot of damage to the Portuguese player. Looks like he's going to break through actually on the right flank. It's going to make our left flank quite vulnerable. Sammy's doing a great job on the left hand side, or our right flank. Done a lot of damage to the Ottoman player. Let's check out the cavalry. I think the cavalry actually, the cavalry is still going. See these guys get the spears. They're kind of old school. They're really good cavalry, but you tend to find in Napoleon, cavalry does have its uses, but it's a lot more limited because of the squares and the muskets. So once these guys square up, the cavalry is very vulnerable. So these guys are actually routing. Check out their amazing body armour and spears. And Sam's going to move forward the 2 units of the lifeguard foot and the Semenovsky lifeguard, and they're the elite. So the battle still happened between the light foot and the Portuguese cazadores. He's probably got the upper hand actually in that battle. Charged forward 2 units of dragoon guards, and they've actually caught that unit of infantry out of square formation. So because the Portuguese player has actually lost against the France player, we're going to have to reform here. Put my reserve on the left flank, my costume guards and my foot guards, and they will actually last a long time. But when you check out the enemy, it's got old guard, young guard, almost a full strength old guard, and Swiss foot at the back there. So it's going to be quite hard to defeat all this with just maybe 3 units. The Portuguese player does have, he's managed to salvage some infantry, and these guys do have pretty good stats, but he's charged them straight across, and these guys will probably get a good crossfire shot in. Are they within range? They might just be on the edge of the boundary. So our light is still in combat with the cazadores. Made some headway. Obviously Sammy is going to win on his side. He's only got a couple of units of rifles. Got the general. The general is Ibrahim Basha. So he's still alive. But obviously these guys will defeat the skirmishers in combat. And we've got our Dragoon Guards. They've actually broken through. Did some damage to a French, I think it was a French Swiss foot. Done damage there and broken through. So they're around the back to hamper the enemy. So we're going to charge forward our line with our Lightfoot. And the Cazadors are going to retreat behind the infantry, or he's going to make the double line here with the Portuguese line. We're going to charge forward our line with the Lightfoot at the front skirmishing. So the Ottoman player, he's actually realised he's actually lost on his side. He's doing a heroic last charge, which is always kind of epic, to be honest. I mean, they're not withdrawing, they're not surrendering, they're just charging in. But it's not the smart play. He should have really withdrawn, reformed with Portugal, and at least help fight Sammy. He hasn't really done much damage to the bulk of Sammy's lifeguard foot or his Semenovsky lifeguard. There's a lot of Russian forces left. So Sammy's going to help fight Portugal. He's going to form up on the right hand side, and then I'm going to form up my reserve on the left flank to fight France. So that's the battle happening between the Cazadors and my light. This guy's got a lot of good shots in there at the back of that Portuguese unit. And those guys are going to rout now. It's probably down to the fact there's a lot of enemy troops there. They've actually lost well over probably 70-80% of their force. And what's going to happen is Sammy's going to work on the right hand side. See there, that amount of crossfire, that amount of damage at one go. These guys are so much better than those troops that they're going to rout. Sammy's going to come round, stay in the centre, and obviously we're going to reform the line on the left hand side. So the French player has got a really good formation. It's keeping the light in the centre. So that basically means that when these guys fire at my light, or potentially other light, they don't take that much crossfire from the backs. So basically, if it was like light, one long unit, one long line of light, one long line of foot, basically the foot at the back take the shots that I missed. Having a formation like this kind of minimises that. So the Portuguese players trying to reform, but they're getting caught in a crossfire. We've got our British line here. They're going to put another very effective volley in there. Get guys dying left, right and centre. And these guys, it will not be long before these guys rout actually. So again, Sam's going to be pushing round on his side. It's kind of hard for the Portuguese players. He's having to fight two battles at once actually. He's having to fight me, and he's having to fight Sammy as well. He still has his general. His general is Antonio Jose de Miranda Enrique. So when you play Napoleon Total War, if you bring like a weaker army, I don't know the exact stats of the Portuguese army, but basically if you bring like France, Great Britain, Prussia, you don't really have to bring a general, like a named general. If you bring like a weaker army like Russia, Ottoman Empire, maybe it's like a tier 2 faction like Austria, or like even like Portugal maybe, it don't have that much morale in comparison to the professional armies. So if you bring a good general, it gives your whole army extra morale, which is beneficial when you fight in situations where you need your men to stand. So these guys are actually, you can tell by the health there, they're actually on red, so they're kind of close to routing. It says here they're fresh, concerned, casualty sustained during the battle. So we're going to reform our line here. That's the French player. He's trying to outflank me on the right hand side. Again, doing a lot of damage to my foot there. All those volleys going in, and his old guard is going to be pretty effective. The old guard are 98. I've got the Coldstream guards are 117. The old guards still beat Coldstream guards though, and the foot guards are 107. So that'll be quite an even matchup actually. All we really got to do is hold this area. Sammy's got tons of troops left. He's got lifeguard foot 100, lifeguard foot 103, and you have the Semenovsky lifeguard as well somewhere. If I can find that is. Yeah, he still has his Semenovsky lifeguards somewhere. They're there, so they're actually involved fighting the Portuguese line with my foot. So our Portugal player is actually lined up with my line, and Sammy is going to finish off the Portuguese left flank. And once these guys are out, which they do there, he's going to quickly pull his troops round, and then we'll have the outflank on the French player. So basically we're actually holding out on this area pretty well. We've totally lined our costume guards, our foot guards. Normally when I would play Napoleon, it's quite good having a line of two. But in this situation, it's probably, I can't see the French player wanting to do a melee assault. A line of two is better if you're not sure if the player's going to melee assault. Totally lining out your men. It's the most efficient way to win in the firefight. And you can see there's a good volley in there. Targeting, we actually got a couple of good shots in versus the young guard. Those guys are actually going to run away, and it looks like the French player is going to actually retreat his army. You can see there's a lot more troops coming, and you can see Sammy is coming in the left flank. He just wants to try and do as much damage as he can. I think the battle is probably pretty much over right now. Can't really see the French player coming back from this. Even if he somehow defeats my army, he's got basically a ton of Russian troops left to fight, and those Russian troops are lifeguard foot, musketeers, lifeguard foot. There's a lot of lifeguard foot there. So my job here is just to do as much damage as I can to France. Doing the same thing again. He's trying to charge forward weaker units to basically melee assault my guys, so those guys can't fire. So unless these guys are in guard mode, they're going to engage in melee. He's doing this to basically stop me from firing, and because those guys have basically used up all their ammunition, or they're weak anyway, he doesn't actually mind firing. He's hitting his own troops, but he's hitting a lot more of my troops. Those guys are going to rout there. And the volley from the foot is doing a lot of damage to they're actually the 6th Regiment Infanterier Leger. And got my Coldstream Guards on the left flank. They're going to hold out against the Old Guard, hopefully. So they're going to get a good volley in there. Again, Old Guard are just the best unit in the game. We just have to get like a lot of kills. That's our main aim here, get as many kills as we can. And now Sammy's going to move over his force. Again, it's basically like a last stand here with the French player. A lot of the Russian forces are coming over. He's got some units that are pretty much full strength. He's got Lifeguard Foot 100, Lifeguard Foot 73, so there's a lot more Russian troops coming over. Got my Russian general, my British general rather. He is actually Sir John Moore. So we're going to move these guys over. He's going to come over here give some support to the Coldstream Guards. Coldstream Guards have lost a lot of men, but it says here they're encouraged by general nearby. So going to keep this guy here. He's going to stay close to the Coldstream Guards and he's going to provide some morale support. So again, like I've said in previous videos, again I play games on my laptop. I got a really good processor and a good graphics card, a good amount of RAM, but the graphics card is a little bit lacking. It's actually an integrated graphics card, so I can play most games, but games which are graphical intensive, like Napoleon Total War, the graphics are dumbed down slightly. But I'm not really a big fan of graphics anyway. I prefer good gameplay than graphics. So we're going to hold out against the French player. We've done a lot of damage to the old guard. He's got a Swiss foot regiment left, 2 Swiss foot, and 3 Swiss foot actually. Sammy's going to charge forward his skirmishers, and it looks like these guys are probably going to be out of ammunition anyway. They're going to do an heroic charge against the young guard. We'll check out the right flank. The French player's charged forward his general staff. It was actually quite a good move because he has the potential now to hammer and anvil the Coldstream Guards. Got these guys to try and kill the general. Because I reckon if the French general goes down, it's going to be a big shock to the rest of the French army. So Sammy's got his Russian Jaegers fighting the French, I think it's the young guard, and he's also put in his Semenovsky Life Guard, and they're down to 30. So that battle should be won here. He's got the rest of his Russian force coming around on the right flank, or our left flank. Managed to rout the unit of your old guard, so there's still 3 units of Swiss foot and the general staff. And I think these guys are going to charge in here. So the Portugal player still got 2 units there? Still get 1 unit there. They've actually outflanked, and they've actually got a lot of good shots in there versus the rear of the Swiss foot. The general staff's going to do a charge versus the Portuguese infantry before they make square, and that's the general over there. He's still alive, but it's definitely game over. It's basically just almost a tactical thrall there, and that's the French army routing. So that was a great battle there. Again, I've actually uploaded this battle before in the past. That was quite early though, when my audio on my videos is pretty poor. Still can be improved I reckon, but I've adjusted some of the settings and it should be a lot better to hear. So again, thanks for watching this battle replay. You don't often see many Napoleon Total War games anymore, but that was a great battle there. We'll go through some of the stats. MGL Sammy, almost 1600 kills. I had about 1400 kills. Angry Piper, 700 kills. He basically got outflanked on the right hand side, and I think the French player was really good as well. Tolgatuerk, about 700 kills. DVSK Noob, almost 1000 kills, and obviously the French player did really well. He had about 1740 kills. So again, thanks for watching this battle replay. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this battle replay. If you have any Napoleon Total War games that you want a commentary made on, feel free to send them to me. I'm quite happy to do commentary videos on subscriber uploads or subscriber battle replays. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. This is Piper signing off.